that they were ET sources, because humans don't know about this stuff. So that's why I put that thing in front of you. If enough people believe something is true, it no longer matters whether it's true or not. That's Karl Marx. If enough people believe the lie, it becomes a material force. Cognitive dissonance, a discomfort caused by holding conflicting ideas. People are biased to think of their choices as correct despite any contrary evidence. Everything that's been put in front of you is a fabrication, or an illusion, a hoax, a distraction, a decoy. It's been that way our whole lives. But now the veil is lifting, and things are becoming more important and apparent. Well, folks, you can see what's going on. Sandy Hook, the whole thing staged. The North Korea missile thing staged for our fearful enjoyment, and it's all been 9/11. It's been all like that, folks. And the cabal knows these tricks, okay, and they're using this on us. So I just want to say that's the theme for this video. Well, okay, it's the Matrix. Okay, it's the Matrix. Okay, we got here Drake's Vital Weekend Update, April 14th. Link down below. Highlights at the end, like usual. And Neil Keenan exposing one people's public trust. Global account fraud. They bribed him. They've offered Neil Keenan $50 million to shut up, and that turned out to be $500 million and beyond. So what does it say about Mr. Keenan's character? Okay, and that's something cool. So where are we here? So he can't be bought up. He can't be bought up, and he's getting death threats too. And I'll get into that as I do the highlights of Drake's show, because he talked about it. Okay, guilty. That's from Drake's website. Bilderberg behind terrorist attacks. Italian Supreme Court president drops the bombshell. Well, good. I'm glad finally somebody's taking action. So basically, they're exposed. Okay. Then Fulford Weekly geopolitical news and analysis. Sabatine Mafia plans to stage nuclear terror and blame North Korea. Well, folks, see what's in front of you. That's what they're doing. Okay, that's what they're doing. There was an attack in South Korea, South Korean bank and media websites that was originally blamed on North Korea and China. It turns out it originated from the United States. So who's over here? Who's over here doing all this stuff? Who is it? Well, it starts with a C, and it's cabal. Okay, here. WordPress blog attacked. This is from Drake's show, and I'll talk more because it was talked about on the show and the highlights. From Jean Haines here at 2012. She was shut down, her blog was shut down, and she sent this in to Drake with updated links, because I think she's calling it quits. But I'll talk more about that in the highlights. And too bad. UK Column Live. This is an update on child stolen, and apparently they're making a little headway. So that came in from Steve Safferett, and I appreciate it. So check that out. It's pretty cool. How to sell war on North Korea. That came from Look at the Truth, and you know how we do it. You know how they do it. We know how they do it. But check it out. Dad furious. This came from Look at the Truth too. Apparently, okay, a fourth grader comes home, and she's got her homework papers or whatever, something like that. But she wrote down, he or she, I don't know, it's a fourth grader, I am willing to give up some of my constitutional rights to be safer. Now, fourth graders don't come up with that and write it down, okay? That's what they're teaching them in school, okay? And Dad's really pissed off about it. Now, I don't blame him. I would race holy hell. So check that out. Occupy Love, Drew Dellinger. Well, that came in from Dandomania. He always sends me these little short documentaries, and they're kind of cool. So check that out. Pope linked to missiles deaths. Margaret Thatcher's death and Queen Elizabeth's resignation is connected to that. And okay, so folks, here it is, folks. Here's what's happened. The new pope, new pope we got, he's dirty, okay? His past stinks, okay? Well, folks, unfortunately, that's the way it is. If you're going to be pope, one of the requirements is you have to do some evil things in your past, or they're not going to pick you. If you're a good guy, you're not going to be the pope, okay? You got to go along with the agenda. It's got to go along with the agenda. So he qualified. He totally qualified. Arizona passes law making gold and silver legal tender. New money. More than a dozen states have pushed laws through that gold and silver can be used as legal tender. Well, that's wonderful news and everything, but unfortunately, according to the Constitution of the United States of America, the only legal tender is gold and silver. It's the fiat dollar that's evil. So it's already legal tender, according to the Constitution. But I'm glad states are doing that, okay? They're reaffirming that. So that's wonderful news. I hope they all do it. Because next time you sell your house, you can say, I want a payment in gold. And if the law says you can, you can. And I think you all start doing that. Okay, communist survivor blasts Salem gun grabbers. This is kind of cool. This is a Cuban guy, and he's blasting them. He's, look, you know what you're doing here, they did in my country, and we suffered greatly for it. And now you're doing it here. What's wrong with America? So this is cool. This Cuban guy, you know, he lets it on the line. Ex-military environmental engineer blows the whistle on chemtrails. She's from the Air Force. Check out what she's got to say. And, you know, barium, aluminum, and apparently people got sick, and she's in charge of making sure that everyone's safe. And they threatened her, no deal. All right, check it out, okay. Sheanna Living Waters, I got your comment, and I kind of, well, she left a comment on my channel about we don't need money, and we can barter and do community living and all that. Well, we already got in America, what do you call it, time banking. You can Google search that time banking. It's already going on. But yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I just want you to know that I read your comment and I agree with it. So that's just it. And everything else you put in your comment too. Ben Harris says that Cyprus is discussing whether or not to follow Iceland's lead. And I hope the hell you're right. I do. I hope you're right. Because they're in deep doo-doo. Okay, where are we here? Okay, here we go. Okay, now the highlights of Drake's show. First, there's an announcement. The Tristate militia at Poplaville, Mississippi, is going on, and Highway 26 West. I'll leave the information in the description box. It's the same as the last video I did, exactly the same, but they're just reaffirming it. So I'm going to leave it. I'll leave you a link to everything. Wednesday's show is supposed to have Thrive Movement with Foster Gamble and Kimberly Gamble, so that should be good. I'm going to tune into that, and I'll let you know what's going on with that, but it should be good. WordPress got attacked and was taken down globally. They're trying to stifle our ability to communicate. That's what's going on. Greg says, we have a totally dysfunctional financial system all the way through to the Treasury Department. Well, yeah, what's new? That's always was dysfunctional. The robbing and stealing and conniving, and that's it. Jean Hayes, they shut down her blog. And there's more about that. I'll talk more about that. Okay, the One People's Public Trust. Co-opt the revolution from within. Apparently, that's what Drake says they're doing. But if you see what's in front of you, what it is, it's a mirror image of what we're doing. And so what they did, they put them up, and now you got a choice. Come see us or go see there. That's the way to divide everything. Before that, Drake was the only one. Our movement was the only one. Well, they couldn't have that. So now they got One People's Public Trust with tons of money too. And we have the collateral accounts. And they got their money. And we got our money. So which one do you want to go to? I'll talk more about that later. Okay. Okay. Who's got the gold? Not the One People's Public Trust, not Neil Keenan. It's owned by the depositors, okay? And they own it. And they're gracious enough to help out the plant. And so we got to say thanks for that. And these families and whatever who gained all this wealth through the eons of time are pretty much donating it to the planet. So, you know, and Neil Keenan was picked to make sure it goes down. The wealth of the planet, known as collateral accounts, is set aside for definite specific uses, that being humanitarian projects, deteriorating infrastructure, feed the hungry, you know, use your imagination, but that's what it's going to go for, contrary to what, you know, the opposite of what the One People's Public Trust is saying. They're saying they're going to write you a check, okay? So there's the deception. Now, do you want to go with the one who's going to put all the money to humanitarian projects and you don't get anything? But you do, but you don't get it direct. Now you go to One People's Public Trust, you get it direct, right in your pocket. Sign on a form, right in your pocket. Big money, big money. So there's the difference, okay? So there's the decoy, there's the distraction, there's the deception, you know, there's the evidence. All right, so that's why I put that up there. Okay. Okay, the depositors set aside these vast sums to be used at the appropriate time. And the cabal is doing everything they can to stifle the release of these accounts. Jean Haines was outing this information just before her blog was shut down. Okay, as soon as this came out, okay, as soon as it comes out, they shut her down, okay? I'll talk more about it. The Cyprus effect was a test, and the people failed that test, and they should have filed Iceland's lead. Drake expressed the importance of being very careful with what he puts out to the public. A few wrong words, and a lot of good people can, well, let's say, lose their livelihood. Let's put it that way, lose their livelihood. So Drake's real careful about what he says about some things. There's a lot of things he can't say. Apparently, a request was put to the cabal to surrender. The response was, F you, the regime stands. Well, you know, folks, if you don't remember way back, this is almost a year ago, there was a scuttlebutt going on that there was going to be a surrender of the cabal. Well, not only did they not surrender, but look what happens all after that. Oh, we got terrorist attacks, we got false flags, we got Sandy Hook, we got North Korea, and it's only escalating. It's only escalating. And there's no even signs of even stepping down at all. So forget about that. Unfortunately, you know, well, who was that said that? Gordon Duff. Only mass arrest is going to correct this situation. That's what Gordon Duff said. I remember it clearly. That's from Veterans Today. We are at the crossroads, okay? And we are. North Korea has only Scud missiles with no guidance systems. So, you know, all this idea that they're going to hit the United States things, you know, I saw that stuff. I saw that stuff on the internet. And they've been pointed with Los Angeles and New York. You know, see, this is the fear-mongering. This is, look what's in front of you. That's what they're doing. Okay, so, you know, get off that. The idea, nothing's going to happen there. I tell you, nothing's going to happen there. It's all smoke and mirrors. Okay, regulations, laws, rules, they are smothering you. 1 penny for each breath you take, stifling and taxing us into oblivion. And that's what they do. And it's all a big money grab. And they're pushing hard, folks. I mean, they're pushing hard. They need as much as they can, as fast as they can, before these collateral accounts are released, because what it's going to be, it's going to be money against money. So, and they're trying to take over the collateral accounts too. They want people's public trust, according to what I heard. Okay, I don't know for sure, but it takes a constitutional convention to modify the Constitution, and that has not been done. The Second Amendment stands as written. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay, what they're doing, folks, they're trying to attempt to subvert the Constitution through illegal regulations of firearms. That's what they're trying to do. You know, so screw the Second Amendment, the Constitution of the United States. We can do it by passing laws, unconstitutional laws. They can do that. That's what they're trying to do. Okay. We have a lawful duty to remove a tyrannical government by any means necessary. You know, and all the time through this whole show, I'm hearing in the background musket fire. It sounds just like muskets. The whole show. You know, the whole Drake's Vital Weekend update. I hear pow, 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 the whole thing. Now, it's my imagination or not, but I heard musket fire. Maybe the past and present merging together or something, but that's what I heard. Complacency. Complacency. Knowing about a problem and not doing anything. That's complacency, okay? Who's guilty? Thereby, you are inadvertently agreeing to it. When the government infringes upon your rights and you do nothing, they assume you agree to it. You know, that's how they do it. So let's try this, and if nobody disagrees, well, then it's okay to do. And that's what they do. Or they try to get you to agree by putting false flags, like Sandy Hook. Let's get them to agree with gun control. Now, how do we do that? Let's stage an event and make it real big and bloody massacre of children involved in it. Death, destruction. You know, so they do that, and they get us to say, well, it's not that bad of an idea. And then they go ahead, you know, with their treasonous acts. Okay, the reason given to Jean Haines for shutting down her blog says you apparently are running a scam to make money. That was the so-called reason, okay? And that was happened just after she outed the One People's Public Trust, too. So, you know, connect the dots, okay? Drake suggests changing your currency into some commodity of exchange, such as gold, silver, food, etc., anything you could barter or trade with, okay? And no matter what country you live in, because some caller in a different country, an expatriate, asked what to do. And he said, well, that's what you should do. And the dollar is expected to fall to zero. And I can't wait. Burn down the forest, plant new trees. Drake explains the extraordinary changes that will happen in 4D. Increased stamina, greatly improved health, rejuvenation, improved mental capabilities, and the list went on and on, and on and on. And that was not a bad thing. Okay, what's the difference between Obamacare and what Hitler offered? And the answer was not much. And the same thing was used to take over Cuba. Okay, I have to skip some things. I'm going to have to do that. Because I'm running out of time, like usual. Okay, folks, I'm just going to have to skip over some things. 3D to 4D. When the planet makes its transition, those wishing to remain in 3D will be taken to a 3D planet. And there will be educational material to enlighten us about the changes. Yes, and all memory of 3D will remain. Somebody asked about that. Those who are stuck in their old belief systems will be construed as having made the decision to stay in 3D. 3D. Okay, this one I don't know. Rosebud, he's a DHS Department of Homeland Security insider. He says a planned economic crash and a metal slash, which that's gold and silver, is coming in April as a prelude to martial law. And somebody asked if the collateral accounts are not released ahead of that time, what will happen? And they asked that for Drake. The response was, in such case, the military and the militia will act. When he said that over and over, if martial law is ever declared, that will happen, okay? And so that's that. And he also said, not too many people in the Department of Homeland Security will go along with it either. Don't forget, folks, they're not just employing Blackwater, okay? The Department of Homeland Security is not a bunch of Blackwater people. It's a bunch of citizens. And you can rest assured. Actually, I met one of them. I met one of them way back. And a really good person. And she loved working there, and she said she's doing a good thing. They feel like, oh, they're doing a good thing. So that's that. There are militias in the UK. And yes, they are armed. Death threats against Neil Keenan. They were traced back to Houston, where the OPPT just happens to live. They're also, okay, folks, there's good and bad in every organization. That's what Drake says. It could be that a good guy in that organization made the threat with a traceable link to the OPP to make them look bad. So, folks, we don't really know what's going on. See, what's going on? It's all illusion, smoke and mirrors, distraction, decoy, the whole thing. Is the military waiting for the collateral accounts before taking action? Now, I wonder that much myself. That depends on the situation, Drake says. They would like the collateral accounts released prior. Now, I suspected that too, because any action taken is going to have to be backed up by collateral. Now, what happens if we act too hastily, and all of a sudden the money runs out, and whatever. But there's more than collateral accounts too. Be aware of that. There's also St. Germain's Trust, and there's more going on than the collateral accounts, and rest assured about that. And there's a lot more going on than we know too. So the funding will be there. And I don't think they should worry. I think they should act now. Okay. Okay. However, if the cabal does anything stupid, they try to start a nuclear war or something like that, that will trigger a response. Okay, that will do it. So if cabal members go and try it, I'd rather you do that and let the trigger be pulled. Will action be taken before 4D? And Drake says he's very hopeful long before that. The Bible. Stephen's text is incomplete. There was a decision about what should or should not be included in the Bible. The dark forces were included in that decision. Okay, I put that in. Okay, the dark forces were included in that decision. Anywhere, making church control of the masses was a consideration. So when they made those changes, they considered these control of the masses too. Social Security checks being shorted. One guy had a Social Security check shorted $300, and he's suspecting that it's a tactic where they short a whole bunch of people. If nobody says nothing, well, they just keep the dough. That kind of scam goes on from not just Social Security, but everything. Power companies, the whole thing. Denise says the power company tried to remove her meter and install a smart meter without her permission. And she caught them doing it, I guess. So keep your eyes on your meter. You might just find out it might just be a smart meter. And smart meters, they can read them by satellite and stuff. So, it's better make them walk up there and look at it. Okay. Drake recommends that everyone stay current with the IRS for self-preservation purposes. You know how that is, folks. Kanab, I'm not sure if I got this right, folks. Kanab of the Silver Legion. That name, Kanab, I might be pronouncing it wrong. Suppose they want to be on Drake's show, or they want him on the show, and Drake says that would be nice. So hopefully that's going to happen. Red light will be given to the militia to coordinate with the military. And green light is for military action. Okay, so we have to wait for that. Paul Craig Roberts. He did the article, The Assault on Gold, and Drake says that's true. I gave you a link to that in my last video. But I guess you could just type in Paul Craig Roberts, Assault on Gold. So Drake says that's real, that's really happening, okay? Planet X. Finally, we got some clarification from Drake about Planet X from Nibiru. A lot of people are wondering about it. We will stay in the positive timeline. There will be no catastrophic effects. E.T. is looking after things. E.T., thank you very much. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. Our planet is under divine protection. Well, thanks, E.T. So, folks, what's going on here? What's going on right now? They're making sure this planet sticks around to go through the 4D process. And, like Star Trek, Genesis Project and stuff like that. So, they're looking at this. They're looking at us, okay? They're looking at this Earth. We're not going to let nothing happen to this thing, okay? And that's why they're checking on the nuclear missiles and stuff like that, which is another reason North Korea's not going to go anywhere. They're going to fire that missile. You remember the Norway spiral? Richard C. Hoagland? They fired a missile at that time. And that spiral just on that little missile right up to nothing. So, you know, we got us some divine protection. Thank you, ETs. I appreciate it. Thank you, ETs. The RV revelation. Well, wait a minute. Neil Keenan lawsuit. Everything's in preparation. Everything's going according to plan. We'll hear about it when it happens. But according to Drake, everything's going smooth. Okay. The RV reevaluation. Drake won't share any information about that. For some reason, I guess he's instructed not to. Magellan's disease connected with non-made fibers, nanotechnology. Remember I reported on that one last video too, I think. Oh, but they kind of changed the subject, and Drake didn't comment on it, so we don't know what he really says about that. So, but I think it's real myself. I really do. Foundations will be set up to disperse the collateral accounts, and massive rise in employment will occur accordingly. So that's where we get our reward. Okay, the economy picks up, lower taxes, IRS is gone. You know, I mean, we can't complain. We don't need to go on people's public trust to get a big check. Okay. The KKK and the Dixie Mafia still exist. I guess they're under wraps, but apparently they haven't gone under and they still exist. Okay, folks, that's it. That's overtime, and so I have to cut it too. So that's it. I'll keep you updated, and don't forget the Wednesday, the Gamble couple. And that, whatever that is, Friday it is, or oh yeah, thrive. Okay, folks, over now.